we take another one. This press conference brings to light a major update connected to that historic agreement. You will hear directly from the leaders of these two institutions on the next stage of the joint accountability efforts. With that, I now humbly invite the indulgence of the chairperson of the LACC to deliver opening remarks, followed by our illustrious LRA Commissioner General. After their remarks, you will have the period to ask questions related to their addresses and get your appropriate answers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this press conference. After now listening to the LACC Commissioner General. Madam Commissioner, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, distinguished guests, officials of the Liberia Revenue Authority, members of the press, and fellow Liberians. It is both a privilege and a mark of institutionality integrity to stand beside the Commissioner General, Double Jala of the Liberia Revenue Authority today, united in our commitment to transparency and accountability in public service. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission commends the decisive leadership of the LRA in mandating all of its staff to publicly declare their assets. This proactive action underscores the LRA's resolve to set the standard in integrity, not just as an enforcement institution, but as an example of ethical leadership in the public sector. Integrity is not a slogan, it is a behavior, a deliberate and consistent action that must begin within the walls of our institutions. Asset declaration is one of the key pillars in our national anti-corruption framework. It serves not only to safeguard against misuse of public office, but also to build trust between government and citizens. At the LACC, we believe in collaboration, especially with institutions that are willing to walk the walk and talk the talk. Today, the LRA demonstrates that its commitment to good governance is more than rhetoric. It is a leadership by example. This move aligns squarely with the squarely with Section 10 of the National Code of Conduct and the broader mandate of the LACC to promote integrity, investigate allegations of corruption, and support preventive measures across all sectors. Our partnership today signals a renewed era of interagency collaboration. We are not just witnessing asset declaration, we are witnessing institutional maturity in a culture where accountability is internalized. To all LRA staff, your decision to comply with this directive shows courage and to other government institutions, we challenge you to follow suit. Let us make asset declaration a new norm, not a rare exception. In closing, the LACC stands ready to offer technical assistance, monitoring, and verification services to support this process. Together, we will continue to build a public service that is trusted, transparent, and truly committed to serving the Liberian people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, my fellow colleagues from LRA, and of course, Madam Chairperson. Let me start off first by thanking you, Madam Chairperson, for honoring our request to work with us to make sure that this happens. There is one point that might be lingering in the minds of the public because in the code of conduct, National Code of Conduct, only certain staffing positions are required to declare their assets. And it's important for us to clarify this to the public. The reason we went for requesting all staff of LRA to declare their assets is because in a 2015 board resolution, the board of the LRA at that time resolved that every employee of the LRA must declare their assets. And this is very, very important considering that LRA is the agency of government that raises revenue. The role of everyone in LRA is really very important and might be prone, to, mishaps that will impede revenue collection. So that is why it was important for us to follow this mandate. Even though the mandate was passed since 2015, but this feat has not been achieved, throughout these years. So that's clarification. I would like to just make my formal statement because today marks a proud and transformative moment for the Liberian Revenue Authority. We are honored to stand alongside the LACC to formally announce the LRA has become the first agency of the government of Liberia to achieve 100% asset declaration compliance for all of our staff. And this includes staff who are drivers, from drivers to janitors to office assistants, all the way up to the Commissioner General. This milestone is more than just a statistical achievement. It is a clear demonstration of our institutional commitment to transparency, accountability, and integrity in public service. As the nation's revenue authority, we recognize that trust is the cornerstone of effective tax administration. By holding ourselves to the highest standards of ethical conduct, we hope to set a precedent for others and reaffirm the public's confidence in our work as revenue collectors. We extend our sincere thanks once again to the LACC for its guidance and partnership throughout this process. This milestone is a joint success and a testament to what is possible when national institutions work together with a shared vision for a more transparent Liberia. Let me just tell you what we envision the next step to be. In the LACC rule, as you mentioned to you, once assets are declared, the next step is asset verification. So we are going to be working with the LACC to make sure that these declarations, for those for whom verifications have not been conducted, verification will be conducted. And following verification, what we intend to do again is, if we can get the resources, is to conduct lifestyle audits of each of ourselves. So if there are people within LRA who have, for some reason or another, acquired property or other things in questionable ways, then we will have an opportunity for them to be able to answer, how they've been able to acquire those properties and other things. And we've heard talk about lifestyle audits, in the fight against corruption by many activists and champions, of integrity in our society. We intend to be the first to hold ourselves, accountable for that. So we will be working with LACC as well as along with other agencies of government and actors in civil society as well as in the media, to be able to do this. We want to join the chairperson of LACC to call on other agencies of government, especially starting with the Integrity Institution, that this should be an example for them to emulate. We think that if we raise the bar for ourselves, we can all of us work together to make sure that Liberia becomes a better country. I thank you.
Thank you so much for those statements. We will now have the floor where you can ask a question. You will raise your hand, you will be recognized, and you will call your name and your institution, and then pose a question. But before we do that, I'd like to also have senior executives of the Liberia Revenue Authority in here, our Deputy Commissioner General for Administration, Samuel Bennett, our technical assistant, Deputy Commissioner General for Technical Assistant, Honorable Montgomery, Gabriel I. Montgomery. We also have our Commissioner for Customs, Sa Samoa. We have our acting Commissioner for Domestic Tax, Margaret Crofty. We also have our Professional Ethics Division. They are the one in fact who lead the whole asset declaration process here. We have our CIA, Rufus Ma. He is the acting officer in charge for the audit department. And then we have our chief counsel, Bruce Quick. So then we have our colleague from the LCC, Vivian, and I think another colleague from the LCC as well. And then of course, you know, we are going to introduce myself. So at this stage, we will now have the platform to you. Yeah.
Good afternoon, or good morning, sorry. I'm Christopher Yane, I report for Cam FM. So, as the report of conduct, only government officials who are appointed bear the responsibility to declare the asset. But according to you, you said this was passed in 2015 by the board. So I want to know, are there penalties for those might not comply with this asset declaration?
Well, we have 100% compliance, so there is no penalty to be had because everyone has complied with the requirement. The board decision is a policy instrument of the entity, so anyone who agrees to work with LRA must conform to those. Now, I need to point out that legal instruments, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, and here is one of them, but lawyers will tell you that the standards set in law are minimum requirements. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going over and above. So yes, appointed authorities are required to declare their assets in accordance with the National Code of Conduct. But then also people who are in positions like procurement officers, controllers, and others, they are not appointed by the president, but they are also required to declare their assets. So if you look at that, the intent of the law is anyone who works in a position, in a vulnerable position, is required to declare their assets. And tell me, in my view, I agree with the 2015 resolution of the board because everyone in LRA occupies a similar position like a procurement officer or a controller in an entity. And as such, it is very important. And I think it was a very, very prudent decision for the board to take that. More than that, what that board resolution does is elevate LRA, and hold ourselves accountable to the highest level of standards. And this is what we intend to do going forward. So what you're seeing here today is just one of several activities that we have planned. So we'll call you back here again and again because there are many more that we have planned to ensure that we can continue to enhance transparency, we can continue to enhance integrity, we can continue to enhance accountability for public trust. You see, these are important bedrocks, like I mentioned in my statement earlier, for a tax administration. What you want to do in a tax administration is to encourage what is called voluntary compliance. You don't need to run behind people for them to come and pay their taxes. Let people come on their own to pay their taxes. For people to be able to do that, you need to win the trust and confidence of those taxpayers. So what we're trying to do in LRA is actually reinforce and reestablish ourselves as a trusted entity of government, as a trusted partner of the public, of taxpayers or traders, so they can be able to come on their own. And that way we increase voluntary compliance and we reduce the cost of enforcement.
Yeah. Another question? Any other question? So if there's no more questions, then with the power of that saying, we record this and did have to say on the media. Thank you so much for coming. And let me say a big thank you to our Commissioner General and our LACC Commissioner who had the leave of office to join us. This alone shows the level of commitment you have to make this work.
So we just do some photo ops, right?